Hey guys, so this is going to be a completely different type of showcase video. It's more so going to be a complete unit overview for Dokkanfest Physical Piccolo. We're going to be taking him through Dokkan events, Super Battle Road, Infinite Dragon Ball History, and the Legendary Goku event, because those are pretty much the only events that in the game that matter in terms of determining how good a unit is for Dokkan. Now obviously we won't be showing off all those events in their entirety. I'm going to be doing my best to edit out the parts that are unimportant so that we can just completely zone in on portions of those events featuring the Piccolo that I think highlight his strengths and weaknesses. And then once we've done all that, we're going to circle back and talk about what went well, what didn't go so well, and then finish off with like a 2 to 3 minute statement about my overall thoughts on the unit. And before we jump in, the last thing I just wanted to mention quickly is that this is going to be an evaluation of Piccolo at the Rainbow level. So obviously not everyone is going to have access to a Rainbow Piccolo at this point, but I think it's fair to judge him based on his full potential. So we'll start off with like a 2 to 3 minute statement just based off of my initial thoughts on him after using him for a little bit. Then we'll jump into some gameplay and get into the weeds real fast. Okay, so the first thing to talk about with Piccolo is that he really only has 4 teams, well, really 3 that he can be ran on. The Namekians team, the Worthy Rivals team, the Android/Cell Saga team, and then the Bond of Master and Disciple team. I've sort of made compositions of those 3 teams because Namekians and Worthy Rivals are pretty much the same team because he's the leader for both of them. Namekians isn't like a fully fleshed out team as of right now. I am recording this video on April 5th, 2020, on Global, by the way. So this is what we have in terms of the Android/Cell Saga team. I believe this is probably one of the better choices you can do for this team. I think this team is pretty poorly equipped to handle a lot of the I guess, end game stuff. The best part about this team, though, is that this cell does give 4 key in his leader skill, so that's going to help out units like himself, like Piccolo, who doesn't link up the best with anybody really on this team. I think what you want to really do here is you can run Piccolo alongside Gohan as a rotation. You can run Piccolo alongside I'm talking about the LR Gohan. You can run him alongside the future Gohan as well. They do share, I think, a couple of links. They do Experienced Fighters, Fierce Battle, Cold Judgment. I think that's it. And then this Gohan does actually give 1 key and is passive to Bond of Master and Disciple units, and then Piccolo is actually on that team. So it does work out decently well. You can also run Gohan with the other Gohan, so both Gohans as a rotation, and then Piccolo can be a floater, which actually might be the better option. But that's the Android/Cell Saga team. Next we have the Bond of Master and Disciple team, and what's interesting is that Piccolo actually works pretty well alongside this Gowasu and Zamasu unit. So, I mean, they share Cold Judgment, they share Brainiacs and Fierce Battle. So Cold Judgment is actually not a bad link, gives 20% defense, pretty good. Brainiacs gives 10% attack and defense, and then obviously Fierce Battle gives 15% attack. That's a lot of defense for Piccolo, and then just based off of that, Piccolo does actually specialize in defense. We'll see that as we go through the events here, but he's not going to be putting up the craziest numbers. So I think him alongside the Gowasu and Zamasu, that's going to be like pretty much an impenetrable wall of a rotation. You're not really going to be able to get much better than that in terms of offense or defense. The only thing that's a little bit wonky on this team is this Goku and Gohan dual exchange unit, because they're not actually buffing Piccolo because they only buff the Goku family team. They're a support unit for the Goku family team, but they're pretty good. I mean, there really aren't that many other options you can use for this team. I mean, I guess you can use like the Int Kid Gohan support unit would be good. That's really like the only spot that I feel like is highly subjective and swappable. So you can really swap that as much as you like. Again, I don't think this is going to be like a team where Piccolo is going to be standing out on. And just something else to note as well, Piccolo does require that you run another Namekian category unit on the team in order to activate his transformation, which is an active skill. So this team, he literally cannot transform. Same thing with this team. There are no other Namekian units on both of these teams. So it is pretty unfortunate that he's so limited in that regard, but here we have his best team by far. I think everyone knows at this point. This is pretty much going to depend on what event you're taking on, because for example, the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, he's not going to be the best in something like Legendary Goku event because obviously his passive only has like, what is it, like 10 turns? Let me just make sure. Yeah, 10 turns. He reduces damage by 80%. And then once that 10 turns have elapsed, he becomes pretty bad. So for something like Super Battle Road, this team is going to be insane. especially with Piccolo. We'll get into it in a second, but like this team is so defensive that it's just literally it's ludicrous actually. You run Piccolo and Nail together on the same rotation, and then you run the other Piccolo on rotation with this Vegeta in Super Battle Road, and you literally can't lose. You can't take damage. It's actually ridiculous. And then other than that, I mean, the Vegeta's amazing. Android 17 is still really good. Beerus is very good, but the thing on Global and even on JP as well is that there are no worthy rivals category stages of Super Battle Road yet, so you have to run an int unit instead of Beerus, and this team is severely lacking in int units, so that's a pretty big hole in this team. But yeah, these are the three teams that he pretty much only fits on right now. One of the bigger weaknesses of this character is that he's very limited in what he can be used on. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay, starting with Super Battle Road. So this is the team that I am using for Super Battle Road, the Super Class only stage. This is currently on Global the most difficult stage that you can use Piccolo on in terms of Super Battle Road, because Global currently does not have the extreme Super Battle Road stages, where Piccolo would be very, very good for the super physical stage. Unfortunately, not going to be able to show you guys that because, again, the stage is not available on Global, but this is the team we're running with. Pretty much the exact same team I showed you guys earlier, except the only swap is Beerus for the int Vegeta, just simply because this stage requires that you have one of every color. It's not ideal, but he's pretty much the best unit that we can bring that fulfills that int requirement, because the int, like I said earlier, the amount of int units on this team is very, very lacking. So we'll jump in with this team and we'll forward to some parts that I think highlight this Piccolo's strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so we are now in the second fight of this event, and this is pretty much just going to be a segment talking about how insanely overpowered Piccolo's ability to foresee super attacks is. Because if you have Piccolo and then you have a unit like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's ability to basically tank anything, it synergizes so well with being able to see super attacks. So like we see, for instance, Magetta is super attacking in the second slot, so normally this would be the better option, right? You would just do this, and then you get the super attack here with Vegeta on like hit or something. You stun hit, hopefully, so that hit doesn't do anything for the rest of the turn here and next turn as well. So now that we see Magetta super attacking in the second slot, we can do this, and pretty much the entire turn is nullified. Frost is also super attacking, but he's super attacking in the third slot, so we can just have Vegeta there and tank that. So, like, I've gotten to this point without using any items. It's all due to Piccolo's ability to foresee super attacks. It's literally just in Super Battle Road, that ability is it basically nullifies the entire mode because, again, you have a unit like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta who can tank anything, and you literally, it's as simple as seeing where the super attack is, taking your finger, moving Vegeta over to where the super attack is, and you win. That's it. It's really, really dumb. So let's just go ahead and attack hit with Piccolo. Again, his defense right now is at 84k, so it's not the best, but it does stack every time he does super attack. So he'll take a little bit of damage from Batamo probably. So we'll do this, attack hit, Vegeta. We'll go ahead and try and get the stun on hit as well, right here. And then the Vegeta at the end there, you can attack Frost because she is super effective. Get these greens here, get the super attack as well, and I think we're probably fine here. Now this is one of Piccolo's downsides. Look at his attack stat, 1.2. That for a Rainbow Dokkanfest unit who is relatively new, that is really not the best. So, oh, he actually took none. He took no damage. But that's another one of his faults, I think. Okay, we got this done. He doesn't really have the best damage output, which is, you know, it does hurt him in the long run because, like, for instance, like Strength Cooler, if you want to compare their damage outputs to each other, it's like night and day. Like, Cooler is going to destroy stuff, and Piccolo's just going to be there, like, you know, tanking a lot, like, not taking damage, but at the end of the day, he's going to be doing fine, but it's just going to take a lot longer to kill stuff. So here we have another insane rotation. We have Android 17 giving defense. Look at this. This is turn 2 of this fight. 184,000 defense for Nail and 150,000 defense for Piccolo. Keep in mind, Nail's passive, he takes up to 77% less damage the higher his health is when there's a Piccolo on the team. And what do you know? There's a Piccolo on the team. So this rotation is literally legitimately one of the best rotations in the entire game because they take literally 0 damage. We're going to go ahead and attack Magetta with Nail, and then we'll do this. Piccolo can just focus on attacking hit still, and then 17 can also focus on attacking hit. And it's like, there's no super attacks here, so we don't have to worry about rotations, we don't have to worry about like any like placements or anything. We know that we're fine. Again, Piccolo's ridiculous ability. I would say that ability is probably one of the most overpowered abilities in the entire game, because it nullifies like 70% of the game. Like, a lot of the game is just trying to figure out like where it's going to be in a super attack, like am I safe here, what's going on. So I don't know, like 1.5, it's not, again, it's not the best, but in Super Battle Road it's pretty acceptable. So again, people used to say that Piccolo was like, oh, he's only good in long events like Legendary Goku event, Infinite Dragon Ball History, because he stacks defense infinitely and that's what he's made for. Well, I mean, that's true, but he's also insanely powerful in short events like Super Battle Road. Like, look at this. That's it, rotation's over, we won. We're going to go for the stun on Magetta, because Piccolo should be able to kill Hit here, so Hit's not going to be a threat at the end there. We'll do this, we'll kill Hit, and then Vegeta doesn't matter if you don't get a super attack, we'll have you attack Magetta just in case. And then, like, that's pretty much a wrap. Like, Piccolo doesn't do that much damage, that's obviously not a good thing, but everything else he's doing, I mean, he's also healing. I don't know, man, it's just, it's pretty insane. So I think we'll wrap this rotation up, and then we might skip a little bit of ahead to the third fight, see if there's anything going on there that we can talk about. Just before I forget, I'm going to show you guys my investment in Piccolo. So what I did was I did 20 additional and then just the the 6 crit. The crit isn't super important because once he's able to transform, he does actually get a up to a 40% chance to crit just based off of his passive. The more HP he has left. And once you're transformed, like your defense is going to be high enough to where you're healing a lot, especially if you have Nail as well. So you're pretty much going to always have at least 30% crit in this form. So I didn't really think it was super necessary to have that. And then the additional helps him stack defense prior to transforming. And then even after transforming, he does get the greatly raised attack for 1 turn and chance to stun with his super attack. So I feel like that's definitely good enough to warrant the maximum investment in additional attack. So we can actually go ahead and transform with him. Might as well see it, right? Again, there is no super attacks in this rotation, so we are 100% fine. Again, defense, even without Android 17 in rotation, it's really, really good. Let's take a look at this transformation. And his defense is up to 165,000 with 40% damage reduction. So we can literally just slide him in here. He'll take no damage. We can slide Nail in here. He'll take no damage. Even if they were super attacking, we would take 0 damage. It's just crazy. So let's see his super attack here, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the third fight. Okay, so here we are in the third fight, and we are just about to get our Dokkan attack. And we can see that Rose is super attacking in the first slot. The safe play would be to just put Vegeta up here like this. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. We'd be completely safe. But I think what we're going to do here is we're actually going to put this, the blue Vegeta up there and do a gigantic Dokkan attack against Rose. Get all these orbs. He'll be fine getting super. It's not going to matter at all because his defense is going to be insanely high. Before orbs, it is 41,000. Now, after orbs, we got lucky with the orb changing. 187, and it's going to get even higher after super attacking. So, we'll have Piccolo attack These Amasu, and then Vegeta can go for the stun on Rose right here. I don't think we're going to need Vegeta for the rest of this fight. We know everything's going to be fine because there's no other super attacks happening after the first slot there, so we'll see how well this goes. Vegeta can literally just annihilate Rose here. I think it's like an additional 2. It's going to be crazy. So here we go. I missed that one. I missed 2. Whatever. Okay. 2.07 million attacking Rose. Does not get the additional, but that's fine. We're not going to take any damage here. 29,000 is more than okay. If we get the stun on Rose here, it's pretty much just game over. Piccolo's going to be completely fine here. That damage is not anything to worry about. Okay, and then if we get the stun here, it's over. If not... Okay, we did get the stun, so that's fine. We are A-okay. We can just pretty much have... Is Zamasu supering? He is not. Okay, let's see what our defense is. Yeah, it's pretty good. We will try and take down Rose, I think. That's the better play here. So we'll just focus on Rose. Even though we're not going to be able to kill him this turn. Unless we get super lucky. We'll just try and do as much damage as we can. Like that. Again, nothing to worry about at all here. Zamasu's going to do literally 0 damage. And this is pretty much how Super Battle Road goes with Piccolo and Nail on your team. It's pretty much just a GG if you have that combination set up correctly. So Nail, again, doesn't have the best attack stat ever. My Nail's only at 1 dupe, but still good enough in most cases to get the job done. 17's going to lower attack, and then we're going to move on to the next stage, or the next rotation here. The Vegeta, again, this Vegeta's not the best. Zamasu supering in the front, so we're going to put Piccolo in the front. Rose's attacking a lot at the end. I think we're going to leave Vegeta there. We will keep on focusing on Rose. Yeah, we'll do that. I want to make sure Piccolo gets the super attack because his defense will get higher, 110,000. This Piccolo, I believe, is only at 1 dupe, by the way. He is, okay. We'll do this. We'll give this Vegeta these, and then blue Vegeta, you can get the greens there. And I mean, this is literally just like a rinse and repeat situation where every turn we're just not taking damage. And, you know, we're chipping away. This team isn't doing insane amounts of damage at all by any means. But you know, it's enough to get the job done. So Zamasu, let's see how much damage he does. Probably can do like 30k. Oh, that's a lot more than I thought, but that's fine. Again, we're not worried about anything here. 1.7 is pretty good. Linked up with the blue Vegeta. Okay, and gets an additional. That's good. I think we actually might be able to take out Rose in this rotation. Let's see. I think he's dead. He is. Okay, so that's pretty much a wrap. Okay, we can transform with Piccolo. He's attacking at the end, so we can do that, and we're completely fine. We'll transform here. Okay, defense is at 165 or 160. Yeah, 165 with what is it, like 40% damage reduction. So we can just do this, and that's pretty much just game over for Zamasu. He might not die this turn, but he can't hurt us. So 1.84. And he's stunned. Okay, well, that's a game over. So yeah, there you have it. Very, very easy no-item run on what is the hardest Super Battle Road stage that you can use as Piccolo on right now. Again, Extreme Super Battle Road is going to be much harder than this, but I think it's going to be a similar situation where Piccolo, you're seeing super attacks, you're seeing where they land, and Piccolo is just literally winning the game for you. So, I mean, no items used. It's just a very simple run here. So let's move on to Dokkan events next. So here we are in the Android 13 Dokkan event, and I have him on the Bond of Master and Disciple team. and he's linked up with Future Gohan. They share experienced fighters and fierce battle, and I think Cold Judgment as well. We can see he's being super attacked in the front there, but he's type advantage, so he's not going to be doing any damage. 108,000 defense, turn 1 is not bad. I think the main... Let's go ahead and just super with him right here. I think the main measurement or metric to sort of like judge how good units are in Dokkan events is how fast they clear the event, because like they're not difficult at all, right? Dokkan events. So yeah, 4,000 damage, nothing. Like no matter what, you're not going to die in a Dokkan event. This is again one of the harder events in the game, but I don't think we're going to even care about what happens here. I mean, yeah, the Piccolo just took care of him by himself. I don't really put too much stock in how good units are in Dokkan events, but I think it's good just to include this in the video anyway. We will do this. Get these greens to come down. Do this. And then we'll move on to the last phase here. The last phase does massively lower defense when he super attacks. The AG Super Android 13 massively lowers defense. So if Piccolo gets supered by that, he actually will take a lot of damage. But guess what? We know where the super attacks are coming, so we can not get supered with a character we don't want to get supered by. So again, one of the best things about this unit, it's probably the best thing about this unit, is that you can just see what the super attacks are. So alright, we'll take care of this. We will move on, and we'll be back for the final stage here in just 1 second. Okay, so here we are in the final phase of this Dokkan event. Probably, again, one of the harder Dokkan events in the game. We have the rotation set up how I want them, except this guy is not really providing too much of the rotation. We have the Gowasu Zamasu along with Piccolo. Dokkan event, 262,000 defense. That is really... You're not going to take damage. Like, this is the only Dokkan event. This and, like, the Broly event are the only two events where you'll pretty much take damage with that amount of defense. He's unfortunately not super attacking, otherwise we'd be able to see that. But I just want to see how much damage he's going to be doing here. Again, I don't think he's going to be doing that much damage, because, you know, that's not how he's designed. But we'll give this rotation a shot, and then we'll move on to Infinite Dragon Ball history next. Yeah, 1.5 million is... For a Dokkan event, it's not the best. I mean, like, again, he's not really doing that much damage. His defense at this point is probably over 300,000, so no matter what, he's not going to take any damage. But again, I think no matter what, like, as long as your team is relatively good, you're not going to die in a Dokkan event. It's just like, the way you judge units, how good they are in Dokkan events, this is how fast they're able to contribute to clearing the event, which is basically just how offensively oriented are they. So, not too good with this Piccolo. So we're hopping into the Infinite Dragon Ball History event here, and what I think I'm going to end up doing with this team, this is the Android/Cell Saga team, is I'm going to actually throw Piccolo and Gohan together on a rotation. They're not really the best linking partners at all, but we do have we have the Future Gohan rotating, and then we also have the Android 16 rotating as well, and then Gohan is on the Bond of Master and Disciple category team, and then you guys know Android 16, when he's on the rotation with Gohan, it becomes ridiculous. So I think it might work a little bit better than people think, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Again, I'll edit out the parts that are not important, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Okay, so this is the first turn that Piccolo's on rotation. Obviously, we've had terrible luck with rotation starting out, so unfortunately that's something we're going to have to deal with here, but Krillin is supering in the first slot. Now, obviously, I would normally put Android 16 here to tank that, thanks to Piccolo's ability to see that super attack coming, but just for the sake of the showcase, we'll see how much damage he takes here. He's at 96,000 defense. He's going to be able to super attack one time before getting attacked. So, yeah, we'll just see how well... We're going to have to get these attack orbs. We'll see how well he takes it. I think he'll probably end up taking around, I don't know, maybe like 90 to 100,000 from this, if I was being generous. We'll see. Normals, he takes nothing. Okay. Again, attack stat's not the greatest here. Maybe he gets an additional. He does, but it's a normal attack. Okay, let's see how much he takes from this. Yeah, 80k. Okay. Again, not terrible, but could be a lot better. That's the one downside, I think, of him defensively, is like turn 1, turn 2. He's not going to be able to tank as good as you'd like for him to tank. Alright, here is the second turn with Piccolo on rotation. We actually have a pretty good rotation setup here. This is exactly what I wanted to see. We have Piccolo and Gohan together, and then we have Android 16 on rotation. 16, I believe, is giving, I think it's 3 ki and then 50% attack to the whole rotation. Yes, okay. So no key issues at all. We are getting super attacked once again at the start. He doesn't have type advantage though this time, so I think we're going to see how much he's going to take here, see what Piccolo's attack stat is going to be as well. 125,000 defense is not bad for the second turn of him being on rotation. Yeah, we'll just see how he tanks this. 52k is fine. I mean, 1.6 million, not the best, but yeah, he's able to tank pretty well there. He's we knew he was getting super there. There's an additional as well. Not bad at all. Okay, this is the third turn of Piccolo being on rotation. People like to super attack Piccolo a lot, it looks like, because we're getting supered once again in the first slot. We have no support here at all. Piccolo is up to 183,000 because he got the double super attack last turn, so I think this guy is tech. I mean, I don't foresee us taking that much damage here, maybe like 30k, if even that. So we'll see what happens here, and then we'll move on probably deeper into the fight, because at this point I don't think we're going to see much difference here. Yeah, 8k. Nice one. Okay, so here we are at the Strength Goku stage here. He is supering at the end, so I'm going to actually put Piccolo at the end just to see how much he takes. At this point, we are now up to 327,000 defense, so I don't think he's going to take anything from this, but just to make sure, let's go ahead and test this out here and get all these, I'm not going to give all these orbs to Gohan just because I don't want him to just annihilate this. He might anyway, just because the Android 60 is on rotation. Hopefully we get to see though, let's see. Just don't finish him. Okay, good. 1.6 for Piccolo, again, we saw that earlier. Keep in mind this is 150% attack leader skill. He takes probably nothing, but just to make sure. Let's see. Yeah, nothing. Okay, well, there you go. So since we saw that, from this point forward, he's not going to be taking any damage from any stage of this event at this point. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the Legendary Goku event, and then we'll go ahead and segue that into the conclusion. Alright, so this is basically the same team I used to take on Super Battle Road, except this time I replaced Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and the Super Vegeta with LR Vegeta, LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and Beerus. They are good units that I had on here before, but they're specifically for Super Battle Road, and this time we can actually take units that are better for this mode, so let's go ahead and jump in. I'm not going to spend too much time on this event just because it's basically just a glorified Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. So we'll spend a few minutes here, go through some important parts, and then we'll go into the conclusion. Right, turn 1, we have a super attack coming in. We'll just see how much he takes here. I'm actually probably going to be linking up with Beerus. They don't share too many links. They have shocking speed, which is fine. Android 17 is going to be floating around. We have a Vegeta floating around. Both Vegetas floating around, so I don't know. We'll see how well this goes. It's probably going to take, I don't know, like 40, 50k from this, I'd say. 39, yeah. Seems reasonable. Okay, let's move on a little bit deeper into the fight. Alright, we're in Super Saiyan Goku. He's supering in the first slot, so what we actually could have done is, this would be something we do later if we wanted to. We could slide Vegeta into the first slot to see if he can get the super counter, if we wanted to be a little bit risky with it. But I don't think we're going to take too much damage from this anyway. Vegeta can do whatever in the last slot, doesn't really matter. I don't think we're going to take any damage from this. Maybe 20k, 30k again. That's pretty much it. I mean, this guy's going to be up to, what, 160k defense after this? Probably something like that. We'll see. Again, this friend is only 2 dupes, so still has room to improve as well. 35, yeah, seems reasonable. Okay, 2.1 for this Beerus as well, pretty good. Alright, so we've made it to Blue Goku, And I think our defense is what, like 400,000? Yeah, 402,000. Obviously no items used at this point. He's going to super attack us in the front. I think this is a pretty good time to go ahead and actually transform here. I think even Strength UI Goku will not be able to damage us, because our defense at this point, 437,000, we do have the 40% damage reduction on top of that. So we're sitting pretty good here. The only thing to worry about is if this guy or this guy gets super attacked, but again, we know for sure where the super attacks are, so we know we're not going to get supered. We'll do this. We'll give Beerus these, and we'll give Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta all these reds here. And we should be fine, because Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is going to massively raise his defense on ATK Super Attack. Beerus might get hurt a little bit here, maybe melee for like 60-70k, probably. His defense isn't insanely good, like 90,000. It's good, but it's not like on the level of where he's going to take nothing. Double Super, okay. 1.8 million is not the best, especially when you have the Beerus on rotation giving him support. But, you know, he's not going to take any damage, so that's the upside to this. Yep. Beerus at 2.1, his passive is active. And he takes 62,000, okay. Vegeta should take like double digits from this, or maybe like 10,000 or something. And that's pretty much where we are right now. On the other rotation, he takes nothing, okay. On the other rotation, we have the Madness, which is Nail Piccolo, and then we also have 17 here. He's actually supering in the front again. I mean, we're going to go ahead and transform with Piccolo here as well. So we know Piccolo's going to take no damage here. Almost 600,000 defense. So at this point, we can pretty much just heal the full by getting same type orbs too. So for instance, on the other rotation, if that STR Beerus gets hit by a few melee attacks, we come to this rotation, we heal to full. That's just literally, we literally are immune to dying. But yeah, we'll go through this a little bit longer. I will probably come back on the Strength UI phase, see if he gets supered a few times, and we'll get that out of the way, and then yeah, that'll be it. Alright, so here we are on the STR UI Goku phase. He is supering in the first slot, as we expected him to, because he's attacking a million times there. So we'll get the, we'll see him do 0 damage to us. He's gonna do damage. We'll set up these orbs to have Nail heal us up after this as well, because at the end, 17 is going to take quite a bit of damage, and so is Beerus. So let's actually do this. He will do no damage to us in the beginning. There's no doubt about that. Let's see what Piccolo's at here. 1.7, okay. He has a 40% chance to crit here. Actually, a little bit higher, because we have 40% from the passive, and then I think it's what 12% from the dupe system. So yeah, 0 damage here. Beerus is going to get hit for a little bit from the normal, and then 17 is going to get hit for like 100k or so. But we know that we're not going to take a super attack, so we're fine here. $94k. Okay, so now we do this. Is he supering at all? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Piccolo's at 470, Nail 368, so let's heal up to full here. I think it's a Dokkan attack as well. Okay, so we're at full health now. We'll do this Dokkan attack, and then we'll probably move on. Okay, so now we are moving on to the evaluation portion of this video, and the way I did this was I sort of came up with 5 categories that, you know, going to get ranked on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how good Piccolo fulfills that category. So here we go. The first category is offense. Second category is defense. It's pretty self-explanatory. Third category is short events, so how well the unit is able to just perform in short events. Short events being Dokkan events and mainly Super Battle Road. Next we have long events, Infinite Dragon Ball History and Legendary Goku event, and then lastly we have usability. And usability is basically just, you know, how, like, is this unit able to be used across a wide variety of teams? How often are you able to utilize them? And just general ease of use, I guess, is just what that is. It's basically lists an other, an other category there. So first we have offense. I went ahead and gave offense a 4. Piccolo is not the best offensively oriented unit. It's not surprising to anybody. Throughout the video, he was constantly getting like around 1.4, 1.5 million attack. Even in his best situations, transformed, he was breaking like 2 million in some situations, which is probably close to what his peak would be. Which is certainly not terrible by any means, which is why he's not like 3 or 2 or 1 in offense. He does have a 40% chance to perform a critical hit once he's transformed. But the problem with that is that he's not really able to transform on too many teams, and that opportunity is very, very hard to get. So I gave him a 4 in terms of offense. Defense, I went ahead and gave him a 9. I think he is one of the better defensive units in the entire game, and that also, if that is factoring in the ability to see super attacks as well. I think one of the only issues I see with his defense is the fact that turn 1 of like Extreme Super Battle Road, if you really don't have any other options to take a super attack, this guy can get hit for a lot, like turn 1, Extreme Super Battle Road. That's like the only situation where I feel like he's probably not up to par in terms of defense, but every other situation, you talk about any other event in the game, he's one of the better defensive units in the entire game. Shorter events, I gave him a 9 as well. As we saw during the early portions of this video, he took on the Super Battle Road stage fairly easily. The ability to see super attacks is just way too valuable. Again, the synergy that has alongside a tank unit like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, you just see where the super attack is, you take your finger, you move Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta over to where the super attack is, and you win. That's literally it. Long events, I gave him a 10. He's one of the best units in the game in terms of being able to take on longer events. Stacking defense, damage reduction, the healing that he provides, it's pretty insane. He's not really else to talk about here, it's just pretty self-explanatory. And then usability, I gave him a 2. This is probably the biggest area where he falls short on a lot of other, next to a lot of other recent Dokkanfest exclusive units. He's on 4 category teams. 2 of them are really the same team, Namekians and Worthy Rivals, because that's his team. And then he's also on the Bond of Master and Disciple category team, which he's not the best on, and he's also on the Android/Cell Saga team as well. I don't feel like he fits too well on those teams, but the only reason why he's not a 1 and he's a 2 is that you can pretty much just throw him on there and then on those other 2 teams, and he does still give you the ability to see where super attacks are in his rotation, so that is helpful. Again, you just throw him on there and he's at least helping in some regard, so that's why I gave him a 2 there. Total unit score is basically just the sum of all these values together over the total. So in total, he comes out to a 34 out of 50. And obviously, the biggest reason why he's that low is because the offense and usability are dragging him down a lot, like a lot. And we'll talk about this in a second as we move into the conclusion, but you can judge on your own how much that means to you, but as an overall unit, I think he's extremely niche. So just to go ahead and wrap this video up here, I would say that Piccolo's biggest flaw is just how limited his usability is. He is really only super viable on his own team, which is fine, but in comparison to essentially every other recent Dokkanfest exclusive unit who are able to be used on a bunch of different teams, I just don't think I'm going to find myself really using this guy all that much, to be honest. Just because, again, the breadth of teams he can be used on is just not there. On the other hand, though, if you completely ignore his lack of usability and just zero in on his own team and how well he performs on there, it's insane. It's absolutely off the charts. I mean, this guy has one of the best abilities in the entire game in foreseeing enemy super attacks. His defense is going to be exceptional no matter what event you're taking on, no matter where you are. And he's one of the best partnerships in the entire game with AGL Nail. And his healing ability is pretty good too. So, I mean, in that regard, it sort of makes sense why they decided to limit his usability so much, because if you were able to just slap this guy on any team, and he performed as well as he did on his own team, it would just turn every event into a joke. With the only aspect being this guy's offense is not really up to snuff, because, I mean, we saw during the video like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, with him being transformed, it got up to like 2.1 in some cases, 2.2. That's really his peak, which is, it's not great compared to other units too, but every other part of this unit on his own team, it's almost unmatched in this game. So that is going to be the conclusion to this video. Let me know if you guys sort of like this new setup that I have. This took a while to make, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know your thoughts and comments on Piccolo down below in the comment section. I will try and respond and read comments as much as possible. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you all in the next one.